Hello everyone, welcome back. You always start heavy. Hello everyone. I was out of breath.
I was like, oh my god.
It just came out as solid. What up everybody? Welcome to the Sim and Singh Show, episode 2 of the Punjabi Pulse with Dr. Sandhu. Sim, what are we doing today?
We're going to talk about everybody's favorite drug, apparently, Ozempic.
Yeah, everyone's favorite these days is all the, what's the word?
The rave?
Yeah. So, guys, if you back up a little bit, like diabetes and obesity, right?
Right.
We see a ton of that. And that's actually what it's geared towards, right? So what we're seeing, what we actually would rather it be used for, or what it has been used for, is diabetes and obesity management. What's ended up happening is it also has another use, which is weight management. Chronic weight management is sort of how we term it. And we sort of have people coming in with my body mass index is such and such, and I should be on it. And it's kind of a quick fix, you got to say, because so what does it do scientifically? And we don't need to go into too much detail about that.
Right.
Physiologically, Ozempic is getting your body to release more insulin. So what does insulin do? Makes your body take in more sugar, right? And you sort of are processing that sugar faster. So when you release more insulin, what else does it do? Slows down your stomach emptying time. So you feel full longer, right?
Right.
So the question, for me, it becomes there's a lot of different things in there. So there's a couple of endocrine conditions you can have. So metabolic hormonal conditions in which it's actually contraindicated. You can't use Ozempic. So those are the conversations we have with patients about side effects, right? And that's the nitty gritty of it. But overall, the overarching theme is people are going after this and not realizing that there is a significant side effect profile. And I think that's where we should focus our sort of talk today, because I've seen a lot of patients end up in the hospital from a lot of gut GI side effects. So you can get infections, you can get dehydrated. A lot of people can get what we call pancreatitis.
Right.
These are the things. So we have to monitor your blood levels for all sorts of things, your liver enzymes, your pancreatic enzymes, things like that. But the monitoring happens. The question I ask people is, what's the other option? So if you have a certain BMI and you have a comorbidity, so let's say you have a high BMI and then you're a diabetic or you're obese or you have high blood pressure, right?
Right.
Those things can sort of give you more of an in with Ozempic, let's say, because Ozempic is actually a glucagon-like peptide, right? It's one of our diabetes medicines, right? So we say, oh, you're already taking metformin or you're already taking so-and-so oral agents for your diabetes.
Right.
Now let's give you an injectable, right? So that's kind of our go-to with diabetics, right? We always start with the pills and then we go for the injectables. The question I have for people, or what we typically want to challenge patients with, is why aren't we doing lifestyle first? Right? That's the question we have for diabetics too. Why aren't we doing lifestyle first? What are we doing for exercise? What are we doing for diet? Why do we need your stomach to slow down emptying?
Right.
What is it that you're eating?
Right.
So
the basic stuff.
And I think it really comes down to, a lot of diabetics, what are we doing? Carb counting, right?
Right.
But for people that aren't, here's where the meat is sort of, for people that aren't diabetic, that aren't obese, that don't have a high blood pressure, they want Ozempic. That, I think, is what's really interesting, because it's almost like they want to skip the effort, right? What's easier? Putting a shot into yourself every day, or getting out and going for a walk, going to the gym, right? Putting in the effort, thinking about what you're putting in your body, right? A lot of people, I think, are thinking Ozempic's like, oh, jo marji khao, I can eat whatever I want. I'm going to take a shot later on, right?
A lot of opponents taking Ozempic. Do you
I'm starting to see more women interested in Ozempic. Apurniya jananiya more interested in
the ones
Ozempic.
with kids and stuff, maybe?
The ones with kids and the ones that actually don't have time, right, to put into lifestyle. Wouldn't that be easy? It's so easy. You don't have to get off the couch, technically. There's, again, like I said, much more on the side effect profile. And I think because we're not seeing as much of those side effects right now, there's a rave about it. There's this rush to it's the new.
They're making so much money off of this. I'm not sure about the.
Yeah, I know.
What's the cost for a shot of Ozempic? Is it once per month kind of thing, or is it?
No, there's a weekly. So you go up in dosing. So there's a week 1 to 4 protocol. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, different people have different coverages with their insurances, but if it's not being covered, it's 100 and something, I think, either, I could be wrong, per week or every 2 weeks. It's not cheap. Yeah. So that's where the company makes money, right? Yeah. It's not a cheap, I guess you could say. So, we have other injectables that are primarily used for diabetes. This one caught on because of the diabetes weight management piece, right? And people got really excited about, oh, it can help me lose that weight. The other problem I'm seeing with people is when we lose the weight, the extra skin is just sitting there, right?
And then you get surgery.
and then they
You have
get
to get
surgery, and then you get surgery for the loose skin.
Right.
So then the plastic surgeons are making money. So they're all in bed together.
Is the weight loss is the weight loss also affecting your muscle mass?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're not building, in that sense, you're not building muscle.
They're not working out generally, people that are taking it.
No. A lot of the time we don't see gym involved, right?
Is that why it's an increase? Because nowadays, before it used to be like cardio was like the big thing.
Yeah.
Now the increase has switched where then I was listening to this documentary where they're talking about how people are now using more strength training because they're trying to keep up with the Ozempic. Because people who are on Ozempic, because they're losing so much muscle mass.
Yeah.
And it's affecting their muscles that.
Because it's such a rapid weight loss, right? So if you think about it, you're losing everything. Your muscle, your fat, all of it. So that's why, I mean, strength training should be part of our routine from the get-go. But if you're on Ozempic, there's probably more of a kick for it because of what Ozempic is doing to your body, right?
Yeah.
So I think if we highlight key points of it, it's important to really think about a lot of the time these days, we don't really think about what we're putting into our bodies. I was watching this video that was talking about even synthetic pesticides, like all this stuff in our environment.
It's crazy.
In our world, right? And so those things have, what futuristically, we don't know, right? What those things do. Cancer problems, hormonal problems, thyroid problems. And the same goes for things like this. I think it's really important to look at the big picture and really look at what you're putting into your body. And if it's really is it that meaningful? Is it that important? Are there other ways to achieve that weight stability, right? What's a healthy weight, right?
Right.
So it's not, I always tell people the BMI is a little misleading. You can't always just be like body mass index, height, weight ratio, right? How many times have BMI parameters changed, right? It's because it's not necessarily about the height and the weight. It's about your muscle mass. It's about how much, if you're bigger boned, all those things factor in, right? So I don't think Ozempic should be a quick fix for people. I really don't. I think there needs to be detailed conversations about what it can do for you and your body.
Right.
I've had to hold doses, so week 1, week 2, we're going up with the injectable, 0.5, 0.25, whatever the dosing is. And we've had to hold dosing at times because people experience side effects.
What's the biggest side effect, or the most common one, I guess?
The most common one that I've seen, though I've only seen a handful of cases, is the GI ones. So the pancreatitis, or getting like a gut kind of infection that leads to hospitalizations, dehydration, right? If you get a gut infection and you can't process and you're starting to get dehydrated, then your blood pressure tanks and you're in the hospital.
It just amazes me that people could actually they're that, sorry to say, lazy that they don't want to work out. I mean, if they're not diabetic and they're taking this, that's just like crazy, isn't it?
You're right. It's really funny. I've had patients even before the whole rave about Ozempic. I had, metformin. Metformin's an oral diuretic agent. We use it it causes weight loss. I have people that'll take metformin just for that weight stability, right? Again, off-label use, and it's that they're looking for that weight loss. I've had people say to me, "Oh, I'm on the border, pre-diabetic. I'd rather just take a pill." Isn't that interesting? Right. I'd rather just take a pill and be at home than get up and have to do something. Now, there could be other compounding factors, don't get me wrong. Yeah. There could be mobility issues, who knows? But for the vast majority, I think we're dealing with a component of what's the quick fix. Who doesn't want a quick fix in today's world? Look at our world.
It's all about convenience, man. The fastest way to get to where you want to go.
Where you want to go.
Like diet fads, right?
Everything.
Keto, non-keto, right? Carnivore, like all those fads are always
a meat-based diet, right? Like all these things.
It's got to have some balance, I think.
The balance is, I think, the key, and that comes down to your lifestyle and your diet balance. And I don't think that's limited to, like, we're just talking lifestyle right now, with weight.
Yeah.
Think about our world in general.
Yeah.
We want the quick fix for everything. Think about social media. Think about entertainment. Think about our vehicles.
Quick money.
Everything.
Yeah.
See? So I think that's that presence of mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what does Eckhart Tolle talk about all the time, right? Presence of mind. Like, I think we are not offering enough. Like, what was the joke once in one of our clinics? Like, if we could just write exercise and diet on a prescription instead of pills, right? Wouldn't that be something? Like, and even if you look at our medical school, like our education, like there's not a lot of emphasis on nutrition. I mean, I'm going back 20 years, right? On nutrition and diet and lifestyle.
But even if you look at our lifestyle here, like how society is, how the cities are even built, it's all like you need a good day to go anywhere pretty much. Your work hours are crazy. And then you're over burdened on your income and how much your house costs.
Well, because you buy the nice house and the car and then you become a slave to it.
But if you look at countries in like Europe where you're walking more, biking more, blah, 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 you know? It's just a different lifestyle.
It's a different
You're eating exercise, eating actually better. You're not, you don't have a fast food place on the corner, you know?
It's very different.
So that's why bread is so popular in like places like Italy, right? Like in Europe, bread is so popular because you're already burning so much of those carbs off, right?
Bread and wine.
Yeah.
We are like, like the, you know, it's just crazy. We could talk about that for so long about just the
distribution of fast food restaurants, right? Like how they're distributed in North America versus Europe.
And that's why India is like, is like number one for diabetes now, just because of the explosion of all the fast food. Pizza Hut, McDonald's on every corner, Domino's on every corner. You're bringing it to your house. Like,
I see the ratio is like 1 out of 4 is like diabetic, pre-diabetic at least, right? Yeah. And my friend is like he's under 30 and he's already diagnosed as pre-diabetic.
Isn't that crazy?
That's under 30.
I couldn't imagine being like that at like 30. Yeah, holy. Yeah.
And here's the other thing. You know what the other piece of diabetes is, now that we're on that piece, is we've talked about it before, is the alcohol for upping it. You know, I see a lot of that. It's just the alcohol and the amount of khand. And then separate from that, it's the khand in the cha. And all those like barfis and all these snacks. Yeah. And that amount of sugar load on the body ain't good in any way. Yeah. What else does sugar do besides cause weight gain and diabetes? It creates chronic inflammation. So then what happens? People start telling you, "Mere na gode dukhde hai."
And then they end up in the ER or something. Sorry.
Yeah, for foot pain, for knee. And they're sitting in.
You should do an episode on.
Yeah, we should. Sort of
the useless visits to the ER. Operating, sorry to say.
No, it's the true ER. There is an incorrect use of ERs, I think, for that thing. And we've talked about how you should have we've always talked about the setup of ERs, like you need a triage physician essentially because nursing won't cut it.
Right.
And somebody that can basically say, this doesn't need to be seen here today. Right. Foot pain is not an 8-hour wait.
Like get out of here.
Septic joint or something, right?
Yeah,
so there's levels again to all of this, right? Short of offering medical advice on camera, but you're really looking at, I think, coming back to the basics here is all that stuff that we're trying to fix with Ozempic. There's a lot we could be doing on our own, right?
Yeah.
Like cutting back sugar and tea and coffee and all these things and trying to avoid becoming a diabetic or a pre-diabetic or obese.
I know a few people that are on Ozempic, but I know that they're on it, but nobody's told, like, they don't come to tell me.
Right.
No, somebody else. But it's like,
obviously,
they're just so like not able to just like the level of laziness is something else.
Yeah.
That they're willing to inject before putting in the work.
Here's what's interesting to me. Ozempic's not going to boost your like those neurotransmitters, those chemicals we get the high, right? From exercise, the endorphins, the runner's high. So I feel like people should experience that to really realize that exercise isn't just about your body looking a certain way. It's this.
It's the mind.
It's the mind. Exercise and endorphins do a lot for your mental health. So what do we do for mental health? Antidepressants. Like North America is the number one place for use of antidepressants, isn't it?
Is it really? Yeah. So that's a good stat right there.
So if I had to dumb it down and just for some of the audience, I have to like break it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Ozempic is basically what it's doing is making you feel nauseous throughout the day and you're not wanting to eat anything. Is that what he's doing?
You just have less of an appetite. I wouldn't say you have overt nausea. You just have less of an appetite because when you eat, your stomach takes longer to empty. So instead of maybe getting hungry after 2 hours, you're hungry for like 3, maybe 4 hours. Like it takes longer, right? And then the other thing it does is it releases insulin so that you're really digesting kind of slower, you could say, right? So that's what it essentially does to your metabolism, physiologically to your body. A long time was and so then really you're eating 2-3 times a day instead of 6 or 7 times a day, let's say.
No, true.
Okay. So it's just slowing down the process of
digestion.
System,
yeah.
Right? Okay. So that's dumb it down.
Yeah. So I think questions for sure if people have questions, but I think focusing on your lifestyle overall is key instead of just going for injectables. For sure.
Same thing like we're doing a fitness piece, right? Like stay away from like the steroids. Especially when you're like starting out, just like put in the time, put in the work, and you'll see some, changes in your body. Same thing goes for if you're wanting to like lose fat, don't go to the injectable.
Injectable.
Is there pill form too for that?
No. There's other. I don't think
There's companies in India now that have started to do like the off-market rate.
Oh, sure.
It's
I believe it. Yeah.
Well, it's sold under the table a lot, right?
Yeah.
Just because the price is obviously higher.
Yeah.
So drug dealers are selling it like it's a drug.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
And because people that can't get a prescription for it, right? So
There you go.
there's a lot of ways to get hold of it. Just
Well,
stay
and
away
then
from it.
again, we go into the topic of like this is another like a total different avenue, but like stimulants. Why do people sometimes buy stimulants? They make you metabolize faster, so you're not hungry.
Rev you up.
They rev you up. You're not hungry. You lose weight. Right? Well, that's one of the side effects when you have patients with ADHD and you put them on a stimulant for their attention. They have weight loss as a side effect. So sometimes when you have a teenager come in, they don't want to lose weight. They're trying to find a stimulant that'll work for them, that'll keep them weight neutral. Same idea. That's why stimulants people buy under the table, because it's like meth, right? It's a drug, cocaine, whatever. It keeps you just break things down faster and then you're losing weight.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Very informative.
yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. So we can talk more about that when we get questions or whatnot. We can talk more about different topics within this realm.
For sure. Yeah, send us your questions. Anything else from you?
Any final says before you head out?
No.
No?
That should be good. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the Punjabi Pulse with Dr. Sandhu. She's going to be on our series for every Thursday. Her episodes will be down on our, every Thursday we're posting those ones. So if you guys have any suggestions, topics you guys want to talk about, just comment down below or let us know and we'll get Dr. Sandhu to talk about it. Good?
Yeah.
That was a good one? Yeah. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Make sure you guys keep hitting that subscribe button, keep liking, keep sharing all the information in the bio. Thank you, Anna. Peace.
You have a cheering.